Having any form of a relationship with a narcissist, whether that was a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic ex, siblings, friends, bosses, work colleagues, being around these kinds of people on a continued basis often leaves us with a lot of things that we have to overcome. One of those being anxiety. There is many reasons we end up with anxieties around narcissistic people, and it's often due to the narcissist's behaviour. They put that much fear in us through their gaslighting, through their intimidation, through their arguments, through their mood swings. There is so many ways a narcissist places that fear within us, and through their projection and their blame shifting, we are the ones that often end up with a lot of doubts because we want to see the good in those around us, that even when they are showing us the bad, because they are so good at coming up with excuses for their toxic behaviour, usually blaming us for their toxic behaviour. And as we are willing to take a look at ourselves and work on who we are as a person, we often carry a lot of shame and a lot of fear that the narcissist actually projected into us. So this video is going to be about some self-help methods to help you overcome any anxieties. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. Rational anxiety is a normal part of life. We actually need rational anxiety to help keep us safe. When our minds are around negative environments or negative people, this rational anxiety, once out and out time and time again, can lead to irrational anxieties. As our subconscious has been programmed over a prolonged period of time to protect ourselves. As narcissistic people gaslight you so well, most of us don't even know what gaslighting is until we are out of the situation. Narcissistic people gaslight us into losing our reality, into questioning our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, into questioning our own sanity, so that we are left full of self-doubt, and most often with a lack of self-esteem, because they devalue us and they invalidate us at every turn. They invalidate our life's experiences, they invalidate our feelings, they invalidate our friendships, they invalidate our potential, they invalidate our memories. Narcissists will provoke you and they will project their feelings onto you to bait you into that reaction so that they can blame everything on you. With a narcissist, they will usually set the environment by flirting in front of somebody else, and then if you were to ask them about it, they will accuse you of being jealous. So you focus on your feelings of jealousy rather than their behaviour. They will cause some sort of argument and then claim that you're the one overreacting. However, with the way a narcissist downplays their behaviour, often you're not overreacting, often you're underreacting to the situation you're truly living in with them. They will push your buttons any way they can, and then when you react, they'll accuse you of being the abusive one. And as you question yourself, you wonder more about who you are as a person, and it takes the focus away from their behaviour. They will humiliate you, shame you, criticize you, judge you, and if you speak out, they will tell you that you're being too sensitive, or they will claim that they're only joking. So we question whether we are too sensitive, when in reality we need to question their behaviour. They want us to focus on our feelings to distract us from their behaviour. When living with somebody who's doing these kinds of things to you, we often end up living with lots of feelings of shame for who we are as a person, guilt if we don't get things right, fear if we don't get things right, fawning to their behaviour and walking on eggshells, believing that we're doing it to make it work and to find peace, not realising that we're being coercively controlled into behaving how they want us to behave. Although with a narcissist, because they are incredibly envious people, no matter what they have, no matter what you provide for them, no matter what you do for them, it's never going to be enough for them. They are always going to want more. And as they are incredibly exploitative, they will happily exploit people to get their own needs met, as they lack empathy to care for those they hurt, so long as their needs are getting met. So some common signs within yourself, some physical signs that you might be dealing with anxiety, or dizziness, fatigue, muscle tension, changes in your heart rate, excessive sweating, shaking, a dry mouth, shortness of breath, headaches, nausea, sleep disturbances, and stomach aches. Many of us can be drained because a narcissist is draining us psychologically, emotionally, physically. A narcissist will find a way to drain us. So we don't always recognise those signs of fatigue as anxiety. The more we suffer with these kinds of things, the easier it is for a narcissist to manipulate us. When we're not at our best, yet doing our best by other people, narcissistic people find it far easier to take advantage of us. Stomach pains around a person, especially if you go to the doctors and you haven't got any medical problems, is usually your body trying to warn you that it's not feeling comfortable around the person you are with. Emotional effects of anxiety are difficulty concentrating, a sense of dread or fear, irritability, a loss of confidence, feeling unsettled, on edge or restless, feeling disconnected from the world, feeling disconnected from friends and family. And when it comes to narcissistic people, they will do their best to isolate you from support. And when you're struggling with things like anxiety, when you've gone into the trauma response of fight, flight, freeze or fawn, often you can end up isolating yourselves, which is why many survivors blame themselves and excuse the narcissist's behaviour. When they're feeling tired and drained and the narcissist is off doing what they want, they believe it's because of who they are as a person, because they're too tired, because they're too drained, because they haven't got the energy, because they've become irritable, not realising that the very person they are with is the person that's sending them that way. And when you're feeling irritable, it's very easy then for a narcissist to provoke you and to gain that reaction from you. So narcissistic people are very good at bringing the worst out in you, which is often why many people stay, because they believe they are at fault when they are not at fault. Narcissists are very good at gaslighting your reality so that you cannot see the entire picture, and because you are willing to self-reflect, because you are willing to learn and grow, you constantly adapt who you are to suit them, not realising that you are losing who you are, and it will never suit a narcissist. They are always going to be looking for more because they believe they are above others, and they believe they are deserving of that excessive admiration. Anxiety can affect so many areas of your life, and with that loss of conversation, with that loss of concentration, it can make it very difficult even doing such things as driving a car, getting on with day-to-day tasks, because your concentration is going, as well as the fact that narcissistic abuse can cause physical health problems. I shall link this video up here. It can cause issues within your brain. I shall also add this video up here, which all kind of links in and ties to how you're behaving. And because you're behaving in those kinds of ways, we often end up blaming ourselves, again, not looking at the bigger picture, not realizing that it's the very person we are with looking for support is the very person that's bringing us under. Depending on the situation you've been in, depending on the narcissist you've been with or the narcissist you've been around, depending on who you are as a person, depends on how you heal from anxiety. There is many different methods, and it's about trying each one until you can find what works for you. Some can just manage the self-help methods. Other people need talk therapy. For some, talk therapy isn't helpful. Some people need to work through what happened to them in the past so that they can use their present to move forward in the future. Some people need to leave the past where it is and use the present to work for their future. Some people find EMDR treatment very good. Some people can find EFT techniques very good. Some people find essential oils very good. It's all about your values and your belief system and finding what works for you personally. So if you don't think something sounds a good idea and you really don't want to try it, listen to yourself and find something that you believe will help you. There is always a way. You've just got to change your perspectives to find the way that works for you as a person. Anxiety does cause a lot of chaos in the mind and the body, so we can react negatively to a lot of situations, and we can almost fall into that trap of the world is against me. And when we've got that thought process running, we're not going to find the methods to help ourselves. So we do also need to try and work on our thought process of, that might not have worked for me, what can I try now? Because something will work for me, and knowing that something will work for you, it's just about finding which method works for you. When it comes to anxiety, fear usually manifests, and it usually we go through a situation and then it usually gets stored within our memory somewhere. When it's a traumatic memory, we might not always be able to bring it up and see what is actually happening. So there can be something such as a smell, a taste, a noise, a colour that triggers that memory within us, even though we can't actually remember the event. And then it triggers that irrational anxiety in us. We can just be walking around a shop when we start feeling sweaty, and that sense of dread starts to come over us. And the best thing you can do then is to try and get out of the shop and get the fresh air. Tell yourself that you're safe. Try the breathing techniques of breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, holding your breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4, and focusing your mind on your breathing, trying to stand tall, trying to get that air into your lungs and trying to calm yourself down. It can be things like the keys in the door or the car, a certain noise of a certain car, or you might even see a certain make of car that reminds you of a certain person, and it sends you into that fear, into that dread and into that panic. The first thing is to acknowledge that it isn't that person. The second thing is to then start looking out for other makes of cars, because the more you're subconscious is looking for those, the more it's going to find. So training yourself to start looking for other things so that your subconscious starts picking up on that and starts looking for other things, so that you notice those more and you begin to notice less the things you don't want to notice. Once you've been through one anxiety attack, your mind can prompt you to avoid places or avoid things that might set off that anxiety again. It is a natural defense mechanism to help you on a short-term temporary basis. Avoidance is your mind's way of protecting yourself. Once you've experienced pain, you don't want to experience that pain again. So your mind is going to do all it can to avoid that pain again. Sometimes anxiety can kick in thinking it's trying to protect you. When we're trying to avoid stressful situations, when what we actually need to do is work through the pain of whatever it is that's triggering us, so that pain can no longer trigger us in our future. As an attempt to protect yourself, when we're in a situation where we've been in past pain, our bodies can send out that warning signal to us. And it sends us into that state of hypervigilance to the point where we can start avoiding going places, we can start avoiding people. We lose, the more we go into that anxiety, the more we lose our confidence within our abilities, the more we lose our confidence with being able to talk to people, the more we fear judgment from other people, especially if you've been judged by your parent for your entire life. Anxiety isn't caused by one single factor. It's often a build-up of lots of different things. It can be lots of difficult experiences, and we can turn to things like food for comfort. We can turn to things like alcohol for comfort. And if you can have that one piece of cake, for example, and be okay and not feel worse afterwards, then go for it. If you're going to feel worse afterwards, you need to find another method to distract yourself. The same as alcohol, that one glass of wine can turn to 2 glasses of wine, can turn to 1 or 2 bottles of wine. And if you're going to feel worse the next day, it's going to heighten those anxieties, and you're going to turn more and more to the wine, thinking it's helping when it's actually hindering. You have got to recognise whether it is manageable or whether you need to take action to change that pattern of behaviour. And it's not about just going cold turkey, especially if you've just left a narcissist. There's enough uncertainty, stress and pressure within your life. So cutting down slowly and finding something positive to get addicted to. So for example, if you enjoy reading and you enjoy a glass of wine in the evening, then acknowledge that you want that glass of wine, because you are allowed that glass of wine. But if you don't want to be drinking as much as you are, tell yourself you're going to read 1 chapter of a book and then you'll get a glass. Kind of fill your evening up with different positive things so that you're filling your time up with something healthy for you. And I'm not saying you have to quit drinking full stop. It depends on who you are as a person, what you've been through and what you actually want out of your life. Everyone has that inner voice. However, when you've been in an abusive relationship, that inner voice is often the abuser. Your inner critic can then hold you back. It can then sabotage other areas of your life, not realising that it's your abuser's words talking to you, because your subconscious has been trained to think that way by them. So it's about taking back control of your thoughts and your opinions, and knowing your feelings mean something to you and what those feelings are telling you. You have to catch those negative thoughts and you have to process those negative thoughts. So things you can do to help recover from anxiety are talking to the right people, supportive friends, family, therapists, finding the right people for you, support groups. Don't take offence to those odd ones that get in there that are not supportive. Finding, when it comes to therapists, remember you are paying them for a service. If you don't like the service they're providing, they are human. They have been trained in a certain way of how they provide that service. If that service isn't working for you, doesn't mean their method is wrong, doesn't mean their training is wrong. It just means it's not for you. Leave that therapist to do the work that they do and go and find a therapist that can help you, that understands you. You've got to feel comfortable with the person you are talking to, and only share what you want to share. Don't be forced into sharing things you're not ready to share. And if they're telling you you shouldn't be talking about things that you want to talk about, it's time to find a new therapist. Exercise, as exercise is a proven mood booster. It's finding the exercise that suits you. Even going for a long walk can help. Running can help. Jogging can help. If you can't get out of the house, just having 5 minutes running up and down the stairs just to get the body moving. Finding something that suits you. Team sports, so that you can start meeting new friends and creating those hobbies and finding those passions of things that you enjoy doing for you. Dancing, even if it's just watching YouTube videos and following along to the moves. Finding that exercise that suits you. Many people can struggle with physical health problems after this kind of relationship. Things like swimming that help support the body. I want to say try these things. It doesn't matter if we all run differently. It doesn't matter if you don't think you can run, just give it a go. It doesn't matter if you don't think you can dance, you can dance. Just because it might not be quite how you would like to dance, you can still dance, you can still move your arm and your leg. Nobody has to be watching. It's about improving your mood. And if you can find something where you can have a giggle in the process, all the better. Exercise raises self-esteem, it raises your confidence, and it is considered to be a treatment for mild to moderate depression, as exercise releases things such as endorphins, which naturally boost your mood. Yoga, meditation, mindfulness, just 2 to 5 minutes a day to begin with, until you understand what you're doing, until you get into the new routine, until you can, we all have the same amount of time in each day, so it's juggling your routine to suit you, whether that's getting up 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier to fit something in, which can then often help you start going to bed earlier, and can then often help reprogramming your sleep pattern so that you can start getting more sleep. The more you focus on things to work for you, the less you will ruminate on the past. Focus on your breathing, focus on a picture something, even put a picture as a screensaver on your phone that makes you smile, that you can focus on, and create that mantra within your mind, something positive like I am okay, I am okay, and keep those thoughts in there until they are programmed into your subconscious. Cleaning up your diet. Not always the most enjoyable thing to do if your diet's not great to begin with. However, cleaning up your diet can really truly help. Again, don't do it all in one mass go. It's a learning process, and we have to stick to things for, I think it's at least 30 days, so it becomes a new routine, a new habit for who we are as a person. It's very easy to slip into old habits because we've been doing them for a long period of time. So things that make you feel bloated, things that make you feel slow, things that make you feel like you've eaten too much, start just cutting down your portion sizes or swapping one thing for something more healthy, especially if you are now exercising. It will all help improve your mood, it will all help boost your confidence, and it will give you something to focus on for you, for your health, for your life, for your benefit. Doing something meaningful, doing something that you enjoy doing, finding the things that you enjoy. Get involved with something that feels important to you as a person. It might be athletic, it might be political, it might be spiritual, it might be, if you have children, it might be within the school. It might be volunteering somewhere, it might be a career change, it might be learning new things. Just find something where you can give something back. Most people want to help people, and by giving in a positive way to those who aren't going to take advantage of you, it can help boost your mood. Be creative, find those long lost talents, whether that's painting, whether that's starting to learn to play a new musical instrument, whether that's writing, whether that's dancing, whatever, photography, whatever creative thing that you enjoy doing as a person. Doing up old furniture, decorating your home, it keeps your mind busy, keeps your hands busy, keeps you motivated, keeps you learning, keeps you growing. Find your creative side, find the things that get you out of bed in the morning, because beds are comfy, beds are warm, beds are cozy, and even when we have got these things, we might not want to get out of bed on dark winter days, but when we've got something to look forward to, it's easier to give ourselves that push out of bed in the morning. Reading a good book, reading positive, enjoyable books, reading something that's gonna give you a lift, not something that's gonna bring you down. Reading about psychology if you're coming out of a narcissistic relationship, because most people do want the understanding of what they've been through so that they can move past it. If you are reading these kinds of things, always have something afterwards to boost your mood afterwards. Getting that good support system going, finding people, there is people like-minded like you out there, finding those people. Creating your boundaries, creating your values, creating your beliefs, learning who you are as a person, so you can start walking with the right people and walking away from the wrong people. Getting organised, decluttering your home, getting organised. If you're always running late in the morning, getting organised in the evening. And just starting small, organising spaces so that you feel calmer, so that you feel relaxed, and so that your day goes a little easier. Don't overwhelm yourself. If you can delegate, delegate. If not, just take it one job at a time. Try to manage your worries. Keep written diaries just to help put things in perspective of what things you need to work on in the instant, in the moment, and what things can wait, so that you don't overwhelm yourself. And remember, it's baby steps. It's about taking it one day at a time and finding what works for you. I shall add in the description the link for the online course to overcoming the anxiety and the trauma bond, which is just a step-by-step guide to give you some helpful ideas. I shall also put a link in there for Amazon, because in there is a section of books and equipment that can help with overcoming anxiety. I am currently full for one-to-one coaching. I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link will also be in the description. I shall add the videos into the description for limiting beliefs, CPTSD, and your boundaries, because these can all tie in to help you overcome your anxieties and move on to a much happier life for you. If anyone has any advice on what helped them overcome their anxiety, please do add that into the comments, as you never know who's reading that it might help. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye.